Trusted Places is a site where people come to discover new places and share opinions on businesses like restaurants, bars, pubs, dentists, doctors, yoga places, spas, pretty much any place that you go and feel passionate about, either really positive about it or perhaps you feel there's some things that could be improved. Trusted Places is a social network, it's a community of people where all these opinions are shared and they're made discoverable by everybody else. To be perfectly honest, we were not best mates that hung out every day before we started the business. What attracted me to Walid, other than his obviously good looks, was the fact that he had experience in the sector, was a smart guy, was somebody that I got along with very, very well, and somebody that I felt I could trust with an idea and starting a business together.
Before, when I first got to meet Sokratis, I mean, we were friends, but we didn't, if you want, the best of mates. But what always impressed me with Sokratis was his confidence. Always very confident about what he determined himself to do. So when he called me up and said, I have this idea, I'd like to discuss it with you, and this is something I would like to do, I knew that he was going to take it forward. Found out as we started working together that he's got great business integrity and great professional skills. So for me, it was an easy choice to work with him. We discuss sometimes passionately about different ways the company should be going, but in the end, we always come to consensus, which works for both parties.
Of course you argue. There's no startup that you don't argue. If you're not arguing, there's something wrong there. You're either not challenging yourself enough, or you don't have the right chemistry, or you're just, I don't know, you're missing something. Arguing is something that we do productively often, let me just say. But not, the important thing is to be able, and that's why it's really important to have a business relationship that can withstand the arguing. Because you will argue, but you have to argue on the facts, you have to argue on the problem, and you have to be able to work together, even if, at some point the decision that you wanted to make was not the one that was taken in the end. It's key, and unless you can survive that and weather that, you won't be able to have a long-term business relationship. You can hire a market research agency that will recruit people for you, that will pay them money, or you can go set up with a couple of laptops in a place that has free Wi-Fi on a time that is not too busy, and you can walk up to people and say, hi, can I take 5 minutes of your time and show you something new that I'm working on and get your opinion?
A few startups make the mistake when they do their market research of asking their friends. And friends are great people, but they do things in a nice way. Sometimes they won't tell you the hard truths. Whilst a perfect stranger doesn't know you, doesn't care.
We make money in a number of ways. One is your classic online advertising, which is now an established industry. It still is, though, very competitive to get in. The other way, which is, if you like, the core of our business model, is enabling small businesses, local businesses, to reach the most relevant customers in a new way. If we're to tell you that we had a full laid out business plan on exactly how much revenue we're going to make and where we're going to get it from and how many salespeople and how many calls per day, we would be lying. That grew. If you like, the clarity around the business model grows as the business grows as well. The more you see what people are interested in, the more you grow, the more traction you get, the deeper you go into the market that you're in. The clearer the vision becomes, if you like. But it's really important to have from the beginning a fundamental idea of what it is you're trying to do and what it is that's different. And look at the big picture and see if what you're trying to do makes sense or not. You will not have from day one a very, very firm idea exactly how you're going to make money, but you need to have a strong sense of where that money is going to come from.
We didn't go to banks. So if you want the first round of investment, was family and friends. And then we had some very good business angels which stepped in. And of course, when you're a startup, you have to spend a lot of time networking, meeting potential partners, getting market information, and also meeting potential investors. And that's how we came across and we met our VC who invested into Trusted Places.
The bank won't give you money unless you have a house and you're willing to put it in the market. And unless you put your own money into the business, you can't really expect anyone else to do it before you do. So you have to be prepared to sacrifice and put in your line any savings you may have, any money you have to borrow from your family, and you have to go to the people that know you already.
One very big assumption, unfortunately, a lot of new entrepreneurs do, is that when they go to meet a potential investor, they say, well, actually, I'm not paying myself a salary, and this is how much I've invested. I've invested all my time, which is equal, for example, to 50 or 100,000 pounds. Investing all of your time and all your resources is a prerequisite.
%5, 10%, it won't make the difference in the long run. What's going to make the difference is if your business is successful, if you hit your targets, and if you actually have a good time while doing it. That's something really important as well. So yes, I of course obsessed, and we obsessed on how much are we giving away, and can we get a little bit more. That is not what makes the big difference. At the same time, be careful what money you raise early on, because it could hamper you into how much money you can bring into the business later on. So keep it sensible.
One of the key things, I think that Trusted Places has is very much what we have with our consumers is this whole transparency and trust between you. We're not here to basically overwork our staff and reap all the benefits.
You do have to lead by example. You do have to be passionate about what you do. You do have to have the energy and the enthusiasm that permeates across the team. At the same time, some basic boring things, you have to sort them out. So give people a working environment. I know we're a startup like everybody else, but give people, if you like, the safety, give them the tools that they need to do their job. And also, some of the things I found most motivating is actually give them accountability for their work.
Well, a lot of it is actually, it's having, first of all, in Trusted Places, having some great content that people would want to use, whether it is on their blog or whether it is on their site, so that they link back to Trusted Places. So that was one of the key elements we did. The other one, of course, is how you build a site. So making sure that your page is optimized and is properly indexed by Google or any other good search engines.
Don't pay a lot of money to somebody who can claim that they will do the SEO for you. There are some fantastic resources that you can learn. There's also, SEO has a bit of a bad rap, and there are some things that you can't do that can go horribly wrong. So make sure you don't do those things and you keep it clean. But it's one of the prime areas where even if you're not an expert, you don't have to have a deep technology background. You can invest a few hours per week and get up to speed very, very quickly and do things in-house, do things that are interesting. And you will be rewarded. In our loft in King's Cross, probably with a bit more space and a few more employees, you're going to be asking your mom if she heard of Trusted Places, and she will know. And she said, yeah, I used it last week to find so-and-so. Will be a business that can support itself and is profitable, and has a presence maybe outside the UK. We know that if we get what we want to do, we get it right. The exit, whatever shape or form it has, and whenever it happens, it will come. It's not something that we spend an awful amount of time worrying about.